Council tonight. We'll call this meeting to order. The prayer will be led by Mr. Connor with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Lemming. If you would stand.
I invite you to bow your head and pray with me. Father God, first and foremost, we pray for a world at war. We pray for our brothers and sisters in Israel. And we pray that just cool heads and good judgment and discernment will wrap its arms around that region. God, we pray for our public servants here and abroad that serve us as citizens. We pray that you'll be with us tonight as we do the people's business. Give us good judgment and discernment as we do those things. May our gathering be pleasing in your sight. It's in your son's name that I pray and for his sake. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. If you would do the roll call, please.
Scott,
And Mr. Scott said he would not be here this evening.
Connor,
Here,
Hicks,
Here.
that being you.
Perez,
Present.
Poling,
Here.
Lemming,
Here.
Middlesworth.
Here. We have a quorum. Thank you. Next item would be the auditor's report. All of you received your packet this evening, and the auditor currently has nothing to report, as all the information should be in your packet. We'll move on to the approval of minutes from the regular session of September the 20th, 2023. Those minutes are in your packet. You should have received them electronically as well. Are there any corrections that need to be made to the minutes from the September the 20th meeting? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion.
Make the motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Connor, a second from Mr. Perez to approve the Grant County Council regular session minutes from September the 20th, 2023. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. Next, we're going to move on. Instead of doing the new business first, we're going to start the old business first. So we're going to go to the adoption under item A, adoption of the 2024 budgets. Before we start the adoption process of the budget, we'll address the union contract that we've reached an agreement with the union and the other bargaining units. At this time, I'll turn it over to the Attorney Meeks.
Thank you. You should have at your desk this evening the third amended agreement between the commissioners and the county council and the sheriff's union. Some of the notable changes that were part of the negotiated agreement, Article 18, the hours of work and overtime. Previously, deputies were only allowed to accrue up to 2 shifts of work at a time. They asked to have that increase, so now they can accrue up to 4 shifts of time to then take off as comp time later. Part of the agreement is that they would only be able to carry over 2 shifts to the following year, or if they were retiring, be paid out 2 shifts. So there wouldn't be a large amount continuing to accrue. With the rates of pay, the negotiated amount was to raise their base pay 7%, and that applied to all units, A, B, C, and D under Article 27. And that would be a 7% increase to the 2023 base pay. Part of the negotiation for that also included that there would be no further negotiations until 2025 for base pay starting in 2026. So they are getting a 7% increase, but nothing will be renegotiated next year as far as base pay and increases to their salary. Section 27.5, it was brought to our attention that a previous contract in years past had omitted that section completely. There were several specialty teams that were supposed to be included in the contract, and they were not. So we included those, and then we added and a couple of extra K-9s, I believe it was, and the accident investigation team, not to exceed 5 positions, was a new line item there. Longevity pay was left the same, so longevity will continue to be based off of the 2021 base pay. That's under Article 22. The biggest change that we saw probably this year deals with the health insurance policies, both for in the event of a death of an active duty sheriff's deputy, then their spouse will be entitled to a health insurance policy, just as the employee was, and also the child of that officer that would be killed. So then 30.5 deals with non-disability retirement. One of the biggest requests they had was that retirees be eligible to maintain health insurance through the county at the same rate of pay, that is for the premium, as those that were active duty. And so as part of our negotiation, we did agree to that. So those are, again, the biggest highlights and changes for their contract this year.
Thank you, Mr. Meeks. Are there any questions from the members?
Just out of curiosity, how does that, the last thing you discussed, compare to other counties? Is that gonna help us attract?
The idea is that would help us not only attract officers, but also help us retain officers.
Do you know if any of the surrounding counties do that, offer, like the survivors, health insurance and retirees?
I know they presented the council or the subcommittee with other county statistics. I don't know if that was part of that or
I
not.
believe the city of Marion offers
That's a good question, yeah.
I don't remember how many. I think they said currently there's maybe 5 or 6 officers that would even qualify for this benefit. So it's something that will hopefully grow over time, but right now there's only maybe 5 or 6 deputies that would even.
As far as retirees,
Right.
Well, currently the retirees pay was it 33% of what the COBRA rate is? So this would allow them to make the same payment as the current county employees. So it mirrors, I think, the city of Marion.
they'd be paying towards it like an employee. would.
Correct. Any other questions or comments from the members? If there are none, I entertain a motion to approve the third amended agreement.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion from Mr. Connor, a second from Mr. Poling to approve the union's request to approve the third amended agreement. Are there any other questions from the members? Public input? Roll call, please.
Connor,
Yes.
Pauling,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Perez,
Aye.
Fleming,
All right.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries. Is there an official document for me to sign? With that, you have it? Again, I just want to thank all the parties involved, the committee. I met a few times and we appreciate everyone's cooperation and working through the process. So we'll move on to the adoption of the budget. At your table this evening, you should have a sheet that looks like this. Is an ordinance or resolution for the appropriation and tax rates be ordained by the Grant County Council that for the for the expenses of Grant County for the year ending December 31st, 2024, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated in the order set apart out of the several funds here named and for the purpose here in specific, I can't even speak today. Subject to the laws governing the same, such sums here are appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year. So I'll read the what funds are involved in this adoption, the adopted amounts, the adopted tax levies, and the adopted tax rates. So you have the general fund, which the adopted budget amount is 27,094,732. The adopted tax levy is 16 million with the adopted tax rate at 0.7363. The 2015 reassessment adopted budget 551,750. The adopted tax levy 675,000, which with the adopted rate at 0.0311. The debt service fund, the adopted budget 689,539. Adopted tax levy 900,000 with the rate at 0.0414. The highway fund, the adopted budget 3,792,248. Local road and street, the adopted budget amount 500,000. Cumulative bridge, adopted budget 1,200,000. Adopted tax levy 1,800,000 with the rate at 0.0828. The health fund, the adopted budget 638,704. The adopted tax levy 570,000 with the adopted rate at 0.0262. Cumulative capital development, adopted budget 390,000. Adopted tax levy 515,000 at the rate of 0.0237. And the economic development income tax seated, adopted budget 1.6 million. The total adopted budget would be 36,456,973. The adopted tax levy total would be 20,460,000. With the total adopted a tax rate at 0.9415. Also at your table this evening are the other fund budgets. They have a green letter. Also this evening, we'll be adopting those total amounts as well. And I'm not going to read through those this evening, but when we make the motion, we need to make sure that we include those funds as well. Angie, do you have anything you'd like to add? Our consultant, Mr. McCourt, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I don't believe so, unless you have some questions specifically, I'd be glad to help, but you've handled the actual funds that you're talking about. So.
Are there any questions from the members regarding the ordinance? And I believe it's ordinance number 2 regarding the 2024 budget. If there are no questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2 and to also include the other funds that are listed in the schedule that was provided.
Mr. President, I'd make a motion to approve ordinance number 2 as presented, as well as the presented budgets.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Connor, a second from Mr. Poling. We did talk a little bit about the Chin's contractual.
Yeah, you need to do that first.
You already taken it out.
Yes. It's already been taken out.
That's fine. You can handle that as a separate item, but you've already, the budget you're adopting has that removed.
Yeah, so we'll do that as a second option. So I have a motion from Mr. Connor, a second from Mr. Poling to approve the ordinance number 2, along with the attached schedule regarding the other funds. Are there any other questions from the members? Public comment? Roll call, please.
Sure, I just have a quick question. I was under the impression that I was on the agenda for this evening. Would that be at this time?
Yeah, you're, after this, you'll be on there. Okay, yep.
Connor,
Yes.
Bowling,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Perez,
Yes.
Fleming,
All right.
Middlesworth.
Yes. So the motion is approved. Now, there was a clerical error regarding the contractual piece within the Chen's TPR fund. We originally approved it at the 55,000. We need to move it to 25,000. What we already passed has the reduction, but we need to make a motion to make that correction. So I need a motion to reduce the contractual Chen's TPR from 55,000 to 25,000. Is there a motion?
So be it.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Poling, a second from Mr. Connor to reduce the contractual Chen's TPR from 55,000 to 25,000. Any other questions or comments from the members? Public input? Roll call, please.
Bowling,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Perez,
Yes.
Fleming,
All right.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, we'll continue on with the old business. The item 4 that we need to address, do we consider the clerk's request to be included in the 5% raise? All of you are familiar with that, I believe. My recommendation would be to include them as well in the 5% raise. Past practice has shown that eliminating a position within an office, and they still received a raise at the end of the year. So I'd like to have a motion that the clerk's office be included in the 5% raise.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Perez, a second from Mr. Connor to include the clerk's office to be included within the 5% raise, as other county officials or elected officials, county employees have been as well. Are there any other questions from the members?
How much raise did they get when she eliminated the job? When she eliminated the job and spread the money between them?
I don't have that information with me. Pam might.
I don't remember.
Thank you for allowing me, and thank you, sir. I appreciate your thoughts. My staff all received a $2,000 raise, except for my chief deputy received a 4. And that was dissolving a position, putting more work on my staff. They have broad shoulders and they have done a wonderful job for the clerk's office and for the community. That also put some money back into the general fund, as well as saved the county thousands of dollars in the way of the benefits and the retirement and such. And also, I might add that my reason for this was, which if I could, may I read just a bit of something I prepared, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. I won't read all of it, but I do want to read a portion. Thank you. In dissolving that position with my clerk staff, and this is something that we're doing right now, I have 3 openings. I have, so the clerk, she posts that opening pore over resumes, perform many, many interviews, debate on which individual will be the best fit, do the hiring, start the training. It takes 6 months to a year to work with and train this employee, help them get their bearings, become a true asset to my office. After that, we invest countless hours in the training, but then an opening comes up upstairs, either across the hall with the prosecutor's office or up in the courts. They make $2,000 anyway to $6,000 more than my staff. Then with this 5% raise that was going to be, and I'm hoping, I'm hopeful now that it would be another 5%. Making that gap between what my staff and others, making it more enticing for them to leave. And then we start that process all over again. So I'm not training staff members for my office. I'm training staff members for the courts. And that settles wrong. Okay, I have this thought here as well. The circuit court has 3 deputies. One of those came from the clerk's office. Suite 1, 3 deputies, 2 from the clerk's office. Suite 2, 3 deputies, again, 2 are from the clerk's staff. Suite 3 has 3 deputies, all 3 of them from the clerk's staff. Juvenile, 2 deputies, both from the clerk's staff. I've got 2 deputies that have moved across to the prosecutor's office. I even lost one to the auditor's office some time ago, who was from my election. Well, at that time it wasn't my election department, but I believe it might have been Carolyn's. So this affects my whole office all the way around. And I was just hoping to lessen that gap somewhat so that I could keep the quality people. I brought them here, many of them, so you can see the faces that it is affecting. They all have families that they're trying to take care of. They've got the same expenses everybody else. And with this economy, it's just even greater, as we all know. So that's where I am. And I do truly appreciate your consideration.
Are there any questions from the members? Again, I went back and looked, tried to think of things that we've eliminated positions in other offices, and did we allow the raise to happen? And it looks like past practice, we've allowed that to occur, whether it's right or wrong. It is something that we've allowed. So we have a motion and a second. If there's no other questions, public input. Roll call, please.
Perez,
Aye.
Connor,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Bowling,
Yes.
Lemming,
No.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. I appreciate you.
I need to comment that Pam's the best boss in the world to work for, so quit leaving her.
The next item under old business regarding the budget issues, do we allow a full-time position in the area plan office and reduce the part-time by 10,000? Eliminating a building inspector to create a code enforcement secretary, which lowers the part-time. This is one of those items that we did not address. Ryan, why don't you come up and just refresh us on what your request is, please?
Yeah, you got me a little confused there.
Which I think we addressed did we address part of it, I believe?
Yeah, we had a building inspector that we'd been missing since December due to situations. You allowed us an additional building inspector position to cover. What we're asking is, this will be year 3, our part-time code enforcement secretary to bring her to full-time. And the second building inspector position, I believe at the end of the year was going to fall off and go back.
Yeah, according to the schedule, like I said, the building inspector
Okay.
was not requested, so that's gonna fall off, right?
Yeah, and this is the information I had at the original budget meeting. Uh, Again, making this position full-time, I don't know if it's the total answer. I'm thinking with things that we've got coming in the future, uh, this position alone won't be enough, and I'll be back pretty quick. But our hope is we've got new software. That software, we have touched base with about 6 contractors at this point that are using the new software. We're hoping when that software is up and running, it'll be like adding an employee. This would just be to complete our office. This position is basically our central hub. She's the backup to the front end. She takes care of all of the code enforcement paperwork, which allows our code enforcement officer out into the county. If you remember, prior to this position, basically our code enforcement officer went out to the county 2 or 3 times a month and spent the rest of the time doing paperwork. I'd like to see our code enforcement officer out in the county at least 50% of the time, if not more. This helps allow that. She also takes over and does some of my assistance as far as the minutes for the BZA, APC. If you notice, I threw some of our figures in there. On page 2, we currently have 1,463 open permits. Every pink dot on the map is an open permit. So far this year, through October 1st, we have done $34 million in estimated construction. And for that, I've got 1 building inspector. Part of this is to help free up everyone. And as I always bring numbers, so that you have actual, what we're doing. I will say this council over the last 3 to 4 years has given us pretty much anything, and I hope that we've shown that what you've given us, we've put to use. So that's, again, we're hoping to get that position to full-time, and depending, we have a comprehensive plan coming up. Area-wide zoning ordinance, review of the whole entire ordinance. If we've got any solar projects coming in the next year, very quickly, I could be back real quick for a second building inspector. But I'm hoping at this point, getting this to full-time in our software will help get our office at least above water.
Are there any questions from the members? The only thought that I have as far as the salaried amount for what you're requesting, the 28,000, it would be the lowest secretary in the county.
Well, I noted in there, we had asked 3 years ago, that's what Justin said was the lowest, and I had tried to go with the lowest with hoping that would help possibly get the position. I know 28 is the lowest currently. I think if we would have brought her in full-time at that point, she'd almost be at 34.
That would be the only question I'd have, does that then become an outlier next year as far as the salaried amount? It probably would. But
How sure are we that the second building inspector deal is gonna fall apart? I mean, I know it's not budgeted, but are we still waiting on something for that?
That situation goes to court in December 18th.
Yeah, but don't you gotta bring him back if he
No,
gets everything cleared?
no. But he is allowed his pay should all charges get dropped.
That's a legal aspect, we're saying.
That's our handbook. It's my understanding that we could have
pending investigation, terminated the next day. And that's been a discussion for months with the area planning commission.
Yeah, but it seems like you'd have to get convicted.
Well, that's the,
If you don't get convicted, it seems like you get a job back and you'd have to give it back, wouldn't you?
No, it's still employment at will.
Yeah.
But he would be entitled to his back pay.
right.
So two different issues. You're gonna pay him, but we're not budgeting him a spot, so he's not getting his job back.
Right.
Right.
And the new change is to add
A limit. And I think it was 3 months is what was recommended.
So remind me, you've got a employee on paid or unpaid leave, or what's?
We had an employee in December who, I don't want to get super personal, but had some charges brought against him that were of a serious nature, and the type of charges that we suspended him without pay. The charges were of a nature that we couldn't let him go out into the public.
Okay.
And that has been going on since last December. We tried to, our hope was that he could get it worked out and those charges get dropped. That never happened. In February, we completely lost touch with him. He stopped calling us. He wouldn't answer or nothing. In April, we took it to the area planning commission, put forth a recommendation to terminate, but that was denied. So then we came to the next council meeting and asked. You guys came up with a second building inspector to get us through the year.
Well, my opinion in having researched this before is that just because an employee is even acquitted, it's a totally different ballgame for their employment, because in criminal law, the standard is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But in a civil matter, assuming you needed proof, which you don't in an employment will state, would be preponderance of the evidence, a lot less of a standard. So I hope that kind of answers your question, Chuck. That doesn't get you off the hook. It helps. Now, going the other way around, you get convicted, bye-bye.
Right.
You're done because of the higher standard. Kind of
Right.
one-way valve. So what kind of a motion do you need, Mr. President? Exactly.
If you want to approve his request, you would need a motion to amend the salary ordinance, create a code enforcement secretary at the $28,000 amount and reduce the part-time salary, part-time amount by what, 10,000?
It would actually, at $14 an hour, it would reduce my part-time by 20,000.
So you'd be fine with reducing the part-time by 20,000.
That'll leave me with one part-time position.
And that's gonna cover you, cause you just said we'll probably be back.
That's gonna cover me as long as I don't have a tidal wave run me over. Right now, we're still, like I said, our new software we've got live. We're trying to catch up from not having a building inspector for 6 months, which is where our code enforcement fell short, because our code enforcement officer was our building inspector. So right now we're in training for code enforcement to try to get that caught back up. So again,
Well, currently, right, the schedule don't include the 5%, but the total part-time is 20,384 is what you requested. So would that be eliminating all the part-time?
yeah, I'd still have one. So right now I've got two part-time,
Okay,
and they at 14 an hour by 28 by 52 weeks is 20,000 something. 20,384. So I'd be eliminating that and picking up the $28,000 full-time.
And you shove it another part-time 20,000.
I'd have a permits clerk that's still part-time.
Angie, what was the total part-time fund amount?
For 23, it was appropriated at 28,184, which was short which we had already discussed because of having two employees not, and it's not being addressed when we did budgets last year.
Is there any way to do like the code enforcement secretary / permits clerk? And then eliminate all your part-time or?
Well, I mean, again, right now, we're just keeping our head above water, trying to catch up. I mean, my hope is my permits clerk can take care of the front end. She can take care of the phone who's walking through the door. Right now that is probably more than a part-time job itself. We do $800 to 900 permits a year. Plus she's scheduling inspections and so forth. My hope for Grace is to back her up when needed, but Grace's position is more to free Nicole, Katie, and myself up. And to take some of the load off of Brenda. We can't do a lot of code enforcement, building inspections, take care of unsafe structures and stuff like that while we're sitting at our desk. Basically, this helps get us out of the office.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I'd make a motion to approve the request as presented.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Connor, a second from Mr. Perez to approve a salary ordinance amendment to include a code enforcement secretary at the $28,000 amount and reduce the part-time to what?
20,384.
20,384. Are there any other questions or comments from the members?
Will you be including the 5%? Not for that position, but for the other positions.
We didn't include that in the,
Is that another vote after this vote?
yeah,
I didn't hear you. We enjoyed
Yeah,
what you
let's-
say.
let's do that afterwards.
5% increase for this, for the other positions.
I did not have that down on my sheet, but, okay. I have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions or comments from the members?
Ryan, what does that give you total in the office? 6 people, 5 people?
6
That's what the part-time, 6 total people.
total,
And the part-timers work how many hours a day?
28.
No, a day.
Oh, part-time works 5 hours a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they work 6 hours on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 hours on Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay.
And we had, again, I always go back in 2002, 2003, our office had 12 employees.
If there's no other questions, public input? Roll call, please.
Connor,
Yes,
Perez,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Polling,
Yes.
Lemming,
Yes.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
We're expecting, something.
Not more than.
We did not, we excluded area plan as
They were-
well
Yes.
from the 5%. So we need to include them.
why were they not? Just out of
Because
curiosity.
it was
Because it
They're not
hadn't
on
been
this.
decided what they were gonna do.
the open issues that he's got.
So I need a motion to amend the salary ordinance or just the motion to approve the 5% for area plan for 24.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion for Mr. Connor, a second for Mr. Perez to include the area plans office and the 5% raise for county employees. Are there any questions from the members? Public input? Roll call, please.
Connor,
Yes.
Perez.
Aye.
Hicks,
Yes.
Bowling,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Ryan, thank you again to your staff for all you guys and ladies are doing for us. I think you're making a real difference. I think it gets lost on people that you're helping tear down terrible buildings that are unsafe and unsightly, and you're helping people build and improve what's left. So, thank you. You're making a difference. Appreciate it. Good job.
The next outstanding issue regarding the budget, emergency medical service. We approved the elimination of a medical billing admin, and we created a certified biller. However, they requested a increase for the EMS director and other full-time personnel. And you should have a sheet at your table, a salary sheet at your table. So again, we approved the elimination of the medical billing administrator. And then we approved the new position, a certified coder biller. But they requested the increase, they requested some of the dollars be used to increase the other positions. So I guess after reviewing this, my recommendation with sticking to what we've, past practice, I would recommend 11,123 to be divided up accordingly. And that would be what the reduction would have been. If that makes sense. And I don't know how is she here?
Yeah, Dawn's back there.
What was the question, Shane?
If we was to allow $11,123 to be divided up, how would you like to see that divided?
I really want my billing clerk that's been here for 9 years now to make 40, if that's possible. Do they need to know the amount right now? We can do that. Okay. I can work with Angie on that. It's to be a certified ambulance billing coder, you have to be certified and you have to redo it every year. The new employee that's taking, technically she's taking my place, but she's brand new. She will be going to class as well in March, and you have to do it. There's so many Medicare and Medicaid regulations and diagnosis codes. They change almost weekly. You can't. It would be not, yeah, she's been here, and she's the one that I'm talking about, the one that's been here 9 years. She also is an EMT, so we put her on the truck when we're short.
Yeah, so not to degrade your employees, but when we look at positions, we look at, a position and a title where you shouldn't get wrapped up in the names as council members or, or what the duty is.
Well,
as
and I can
anybody
tell you,
in the
if
position.
if I'm so lucky as to become the director, I'm only going to give up about 20% of what I do right now and give it to her and the new person. I'm still going to do all the financials, all the revalidations, all the Medicare, Medicaid, insurance stuff. But about 20% of my duties that I do now, I'm going to disperse between the two. But, a good portion of the first year for the new person is going to be learning how to do it. I mean, she's the one you let us hire part-time to help with that. So she's got a really good head start, but it's a lot of regulations.
Angie, if we approve the total amount that allow her to come back in November,
We can do that.
to,
Cause I can
present
give you
schedule.
details about what we all do now and what I intend for them to do next year. I can totally give you that.
what are your thoughts?
Salary.
What's that?
I can have it included with your salary.
Poor Angie. I would have been more prepared. I didn't know you were doing this tonight. I thought I was here to talk about the ambulances. I'd be happy to do that, though. I can give you a detailed list of what we do now and what we can do, what we're going to do next year. No problem.
Are there any questions from the members?
So they just need an approved amount to come back to us.
What do you need from us,
Need a
Andy?
vote or just that's the amount?
Just a vote on that amount.
Okay.
I'll work with Don to.
You can do that.
I think the amount was 11,123.
It's 4 people,
3,
3 people.
this office staff only. Yeah.
No, it was the office staff and the 4 EMTs.
It's the supervisors too? Oh, see? Didn't know all this was happening.
That's where it gets
Okay.
divided up between.
We can do that then. I can still do that. I mean,
I think that mirrors past practices that this body's done. So I'd like to have a motion to approve within the emergency medical service, $11,123 dollars, and then for the salary ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Poling, a second from Mr. Connor to approve the $11,123 within the emergency medical service salary ordinance. Any other questions from the members? Public input? Roll call, please.
Bowling,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Perez,
All right.
Lemmings,
All right.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries. So at the next meeting, we'll need a amended salary schedule.
we can do
How
that.
those dollars are going to be divided.
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate all your service and all your employees. The next outstanding budget issue was the health department. Again, you should have a sheet at your table this evening. We have not approved the health request as far as the salaries regarding the 24 request. If you would, just come give us a brief update, if you would, please.
First, I would like to just share some information about health department staff overall. Every full-time employee that we have it requires specialized training, in some cases extensive education before they can do their job. We too continue to lose educated, well-trained staff to other health departments, to the State Department of Health, and to private industry. After we spend thousands of dollars training them, we're losing them. Our staff are required to be on call 24/7, whether it be for food establishment fires, police and DCS call-outs, communicable disease emergencies. We, a few years back, had a local factory that had a hepatitis outbreak. My entire staff, with the exception of the 2 that were out of the country on vacation, showed up at that factory at 10 p.m. and did a 2-hour vaccination clinic. And then they came to work the next day. These type of events could happen anytime, and every one of us are expected to show up and do our job. My staff is commonly exposed to feces, mold, different infestations. I've had 2 staff members that have had to bomb their vehicle in the parking lot before they left for the day. We're exposed to communicable diseases, violent citizens. They have to take police with them on some of their calls. We've had an employee assaulted in the office, resulting in a broken nose. Public health isn't glamorous, and sometimes it's downright ugly. But it's frustrating to watch our staff work in these difficult circumstances and not be adequately reimbursed. The state has created a way for us to do this. They did a an assessment to just determine what our employees need to make compared to other local health departments of our size in the state. And those figures were provided to you. With the requests that we've submitted, most of my staff will come close to those recommended salaries. They've done this so that we can recruit, educate, and retain well-qualified staff. So I'm asking you to pass the raises as requested, with one exception. The administrator position, there was a typo that should be reduced. That request needs to be reduced by $1,000.
To 50,409 or?
Correct. Do you have any questions?
Are there any questions from the members?
I would note that the state of Indiana is providing much of the funding, and Grant County is set to save $48,000, I believe, dollars this year, and $240 some thousand next year with this funding that the state is providing. So it's not like these raises are going to cost Grant County any additional money.
Not the raises out of that fund, but the 5% we're giving you want too, right? From the general fund, correct?
No, I want the requested raises.
Not the 5% we're giving.
Well, if you're not going to give the requested raises, then I would request the 5%, yes.
But you don't want them both.
Oh, if you're going to give us both, I would.
I'm asking you a question.
No, I originally put in requests for specific amounts. That's what I would like to see passed.
Again, at your table received as the 2023 approved salaries and then the 2024 requested salaries. Are there any questions from the members? If the total salaries are reduced, where does the funding go? Or what could it be used to?
So of the 1159, which is the county fund, I would ask that it just go into an overtime account. If you remember correctly, we are required to budget that specific amount. We can't go under it. So if any of the request is reduced, I would ask that that money just go into an overtime fund for 1159. And 1161, if we could just add it to the part-time nursing fund, that would be helpful.
What else required for the state to receive, for us to receive this money?
We're just there are KPIs, and in year one, some of the new positions that were created out of that funding will begin creating the program to meet the KPIs. Like the school liaison is a new position that was approved out of the state funding. We are an additional environmental health specialist because we will be required to do pool inspections. We're required to create community partnerships. In fact, we have a meeting November 2nd. If any of you would like to join us to hear kind of our thoughts about the state of Grant County's public health now and trying to get some input on the direction we need to start.
On this grant you're getting to give these people raises, how much percentage raise are they getting through the grant?
I didn't figure that out. I basically took that workforce assessment and I looked at what they're making. For most people, it would be a $5,000 pay increase. I have it laid out a different way. If it would be helpful, I can pass this around for you to look at. Here, there's one for everybody. I don't know if it's more helpful to look at it in that format. Did I send enough?
Yeah, okay. Are there any questions? If we reduced every position, let's say $2,000, and we allowed, the current position, current employees receive 5% with whatever position they are currently in, where would that reduction go?
Whatever reduction we make in either budget, in the 1159, the county fund, I would like to see it just go in an overtime fund. And the 1161, I would like to see that difference go. There's a part-time nursing fund in that, I'm sorry, a part-time nursing line item in 1161. I would just like to see that additional amount go into that part-time nursing.
Okay.
But I didn't understand what you proposed either.
I think what he was saying was reduce them by $2,000,
Reduce the initial request.
initial request, but to be sure that the 5% wasn't going to be less or more than the $2,000 reduction. You want it to be more, so it's either the 5% or the less than 2.
Okay.
I know.
But I just want to trust that you know what this.
I'm just trying to find a happy medium. And
What if just make Tara happy? I do feel like, you can take mine out. I don't even know for sure that I would have the administrator position. I feel like every single one of these people deserve the pay increases that have been requested. They're hard workers, they're dedicated, they go through a lot, and some of them take some major baggage home with them at night. Like bed bugs.
what are your thoughts from the members?
I'm inclined to approve as requested barring her recommendation of the $1,000 difference. I mean, what she's doing is by bringing what we're bringing from the state is on paper exponentially more money, but savings long term. And we've noted across the board on every department, we're like the AAA system of every government entity in the region. We're just the recruiters before they leave us.
And every surrounding county has accepted this funding as well. So I will be, if I don't keep my salaries competitive, I will be fighting to hang on to my staff. And my most recent loss to another county just went to Blackford, like right next door, so.
Are there any other questions, comments from the members? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the request.
Noting the $1,000. Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Connor, a second from Mr. Perez to approve the 2024 Health Department's request, noting that a change in the administrators to $50,409. Are there any questions from the members? Public input? Roll call, please.
Connor,
Yes.
Perez,
Aye.
Hicks,
Yes.
Poling,
Yes.
Fleming,
Yes.
Middlesworth.
Yes.
You'll need to do the $1,000 into a part-time or overtime.
Or part, whatever.
A motion to move or transfer the $1,000 to part-time
Overtime.
or overtime.
Which one?
Is there a motion?
Let's do overtime. We have part-time in the state. Then is it okay to just do overtime? All the benefits are there.
So moved.
Second.
I have a what'd you say? It was overtime?
Yes.
Yeah. I have a motion from Mr. Perez, a second from Mr. Poling to approve the transfer of $1,000 into overtime. Are there any questions from the members? Public input? A roll call, please.
Perez,
Aye.
Foley,
Yeah, yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Lemming,
Yes.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries.
You're
I
done.
believe that takes care of the health department, correct, Angie?
Yes. And then,
Oh,
Okay, we'll move on to the next item under the outstanding budget issues. We've prioritized throughout this process, the sheriff's department, the state mandated raises. We recognize the public defenders, the prosecutors. We've prioritized the EMTs, the highways, the elected officials to state averages. And the next step would be for the chief deputies. There is a schedule at your table regarding the state averages, regarding chief deputies. If you look at throughout, I mean, our chief deputies are underpaid considerable to the average of other counties. And this is something that would be the next step. My thought process next year would be all the ones that we've addressed this year may be left out next year. And we'll address county employees only. But if you look on the schedule that was prepared, it would cost the county $49,819 to bring up the auditor's chief deputy, the treasurer's chief deputy, the assessor's chief deputy, the clerk's chief deputy, the recorder's chief deputy, as well as payroll clerk and the surveyor's chief deputy. And the question is this affordable long-term?
Well, to the right at the top, your HR person has prepared something too. Right?
Correct. Which that's the 5% and then Justin's recommendation. So I guess the question is, would you like to see the chief deputies of the county brought to averages of other surrounding counties and all the counties? I mean, you can see all the counties below. Are there any questions regarding the schedule? Angie, do you have any thoughts?
The only thing I would like to know is I did not have a comparison for the surveyor chief deputy because most counties don't have a chief deputy. So you won't see her or that position on this schedule. So, she She has received the 5% for next year, along with the additional recommended amount from Justin. And I don't have that on here, but yeah. But you could bring her up to a comparable amount.
Again, are there any questions from the members, comments?
I guess I would comment that, I pride myself as being a lifelong fiscal conservative, and so by definition, I hate spending more money. But having said that, I think this county is faced with a brain drain. We're not there yet, so don't take it as my saying that the quality of the people that are left is anything less than great. We have great people here in Grant County. But you see a common theme here. We're having to increase salaries across the board because we're getting pilfered out of the county. And you kind of, in my opinion, I'm a simple thinker, and I think of it this way. It's like we're distilling a liquid and all the good stuff is being boiled off and we're not there yet, mind you, but we could get to the point where what we have left is crud. And it's like, who's gonna be the last person to turn off the lights? And so I think we gotta spend a little money to keep good people here, and to keep things functioning at least an appropriate level. I think we're still at a good level. I'd like to stay there. So I think this is just another part of that formula. We've got to recognize that to keep good people, we've got to spend some money. As a private business person, I face the same problems. And I don't know of an employer in Grant County, or as far out as I'm aware from Grant County, that doesn't have these problems getting good people to stay. Everybody's hiring and people are gonna go where the money's better. And so I think it's an investment. I think it's painful, but I think it has to be done.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I'd personally like the idea that we use Justin's recommendation, since we also used his time and effort to put that together. It's within a few $1,000s of what the total average was. Just personal opinion.
I agree.
But, it's still, to your point, it's still a nice raise on top of what we're giving. And it puts the chief deputies in a lot better position.
I think Justin does a great job. He's an invaluable asset, so I appreciate his input, and I agree with you 100%.
Are there any other questions? So you're recommending the right column, Justin's recommendation of the difference regarding those that I outlined?
Correct. It'd be,
No, I'm sorry, you're looking at that wrong. That column right there is what the 2024 with the 5% and Justin's recommendation for increases for the recorder of $2,500 and the surveyor at $2,000. That's what their 24 salary would be. And
Oh,
then
that's the actual.
And then the far right column would show the difference from 23 average to 24, and they're still well below.
So what column would we want to approve to follow Justin's recommendation?
Justin's recommendation was what they adopted last time, which was a $2,500 increase on top of the 5% of the 23 salaries for the recorder and the surveyor. Though that column is not All his.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's another one.
I guess we could revisit this at the next meeting, correct? Or,
You could, but it'd be nice to have it ready for the salary ordinance.
yeah, which
Why
is,
would we need to revisit it? Or what are we lacking?
I'm just asking questions.
What do we say it was across the board to do it? 40?
I think it's $49,819.
And the other way, I was thinking it was 39,000 and that was including the surveyor's chief deputy, 39,000. So I don't read it the same way you do, but that's the way it's intended.
I think it's a small dollar amount when it comes to bringing those up to, averages. Like I said, I think moving forward next year, the ones I outlined, the sheriff, the state mandated raises, the public defenders, the prosecutors, the EMTs, the highways and elected officials will be not considered possibly.
And now the health department.
And yeah, the health department possibly. Is there a motion? If not, we can move on.
That 49,000 puts us in the middle of the average on all these positions. So that's just moving us from the lowest one across the board on every single one of these, except for one, where we're the second lowest. And getting us to middle of the road, which is at least a step in the right direction for, what is it, 49? What's the total number?
49,819 now.
Eight, yeah, okay, yep. I would
So
like to-
moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Poling, a second from Mr. Perez to approve the schedule laid out totaling the 49,819 regarding the auditor chief deputy, the treasurer chief deputy, the assessor chief deputy, the clerk chief deputy, the recorder chief deputy, the payroll clerk, and the surveyor chief deputy. What do we want to include the payroll the surveyor chief deputy at amount?
You'll have to set an amount if you want to include that, because I did not have a comparable for that position. So I don't know if you want to,
Well, it's right now, it's not included in the motion or the second, so.
so don't include the surveyor. Chief.
There's nothing there,
It's-
so we.
I mean, I don't know what number you'd use to,
Let's talk about that in a second.
Okay,
are there any questions from the members? Public input? Roll call, please.
Poling,
Yes.
Perez.
Aye.
Connor,
Yes,
Hicks,
Yes.
Lemon.
Aye.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries. So that leaves out the surveyor chief deputy from bringing them up to an average regarding the other counties.
and again, other counties don't even have chief deputy surveyors.
The comparable counties that I utilized or I used, I sent out emails to them and they sent me back responses that they don't have one.
That's significant to me. Do they have any, what's the closest equivalent employee that other counties have?
That I did not ask. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
didn't.
no, I don't know that I would have thought of it at the time. It just comes up to me now. I mean, it's very hard to set a figure.
I know some counties do have registered surveyors
Mhm.
in those positions, so I don't know if that makes an effect on their office or not.
I'd be a little hesitant to include the chief deputy surveyor without more input from Mr. Todd. I'd like
Yeah.
to hear more from him. What do you think?
I think a lot of them are contracting it out now,
Okay.
and it's even more expensive, but
It's even more what?
expensive doing it that way, but they're not hearing the benefits, but it's the contracting it out.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need more information to
Yeah.
determine what,
Like, yeah, like is our chief deputy surveyor a certified surveyor? I'd like to know that. No? Yeah, I'd suggest we table it until we hear more from Jim.
okay. I agree. Angie, do you have everything you need regarding all the budget approvals, the requests?
Exception one.
Except the one.
Well, I just, a quick comment, kind of clarify a little bit, maybe. The things you acted on tonight are not included in the funds that you budgeted. Just understand that, other than the 30,000 reduction on the,
Right.
the
With that.
public defender fees. Okay, so what you've approved of budgets do not accommodate the changes you made after that tonight, which is fine. You can take care of those in 2024 as additional appropriations or transfers if you need to at the time. And it does give Angie the information she needs to do the salary ordinance for you for the next meeting. So you should be okay with that. Just know that the budget amounts could need some assistance later on because of the changes you made tonight. Okay,
Just tell us what we need to do and when we need to do it. I will.
she would.
I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anything else? You want a break and then we'll get into the regular meeting?
We vote on that?
Did we vote on that?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Okay, so we'll take a 5-minute break. Ah, a lot of stuff there.
Forgot you voted for it about 30
No, I didn't. Just looking at something else, reading something else, and I was like, did we vote
When
on?
we see a shiny object, we have to go check it out. Squirrel.
Yeah, exactly.
Get started with the new business. The first item under new business, item A, Grant County Recorder Kathy Foy with the transfer of appropriations regarding the Recorder's Perpetuation Fund.
I just need to move some money from one of my accounts in my perpetuation fund to another. It's from my part-time fund that was in there that's never been used to my travel and conference fund. I sent my chief deputy for some training and I didn't have enough money to pay for her expenses. So I just need to move some.
Are there any questions from the members? Or I entertain a motion?
So moved.
A motion from Mr. Perez, a second from Mr. Connor to approve $1,000 transfer from part-time to travel and conference within the Recorder's Perpetuation Fund. Are there any other questions from the members? Public input? A roll call, please.
Perez,
Aye.
Connor,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Bowling,
Yes.
Lemming,
All right.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
Next
you.
item under new business, item B, Grant County Highway, David White with an additional appropriation regarding the recycling fund. Also an additional appropriation within the MVH fund. And then a transfer of appropriations within the cumulative bridge fund. Good evening.
Good evening. The recycle center, the additional 12,000 is for the new overhead doors we had installed. The additional 40,000 in the building project is from when the lean-to on the pole barn. We did receive a little over $23,000 from insurance. But I think the total bill was 32 or 33,000 to fix that. And then I also think we're wanting to do some more electrical inside the building. So that'll cover that cost. And then the Cume Bridge, the transfer is from Bridge 789 back into contractual services. 789 was 10th Street Bridge that was completed earlier this year. And that's just leftover money that was in that account.
Have all the additional been advertised?
Yes,
Do you have everything you need?
yes.
Are there any questions from the members?
Why'd the lean-to blow off?
Because it was really windy. You know, I have no
Brand
other,
new building?
yeah. Yeah, it just picked it right up out of the ground and threw it up on top of the roof.
Are there any other questions from the members? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Perez, a second from Mr. Connor to approve within the recycling fund an additional appropriation of amount of $12,000 to contractual services. And the MVH Fund 1176, an additional appropriation of $40,000 to building projects. And also within 1135, the cumulative bridge, a transfer of $22,000 from Bridge 789 to contractual services. Fund support the requests. And
Yes, mistaken.
are there any other questions from the members? Public input? A roll call, please.
Perez,
Aye.
Connor,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Polling,
Yes.
Fleming,
Aye.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item under the business, item C, Grant County Central Dispatch. Kevin Hicks with a transfer of appropriations regarding the E911 fund.
Hi, I'm Marlena Wilson. I'm here in place of Kevin because he is on vacation this week. I'm the operations manager for the 911 center. We're asking that some funds be moved due to staffing and vacation shortages. We're asking the E911 fund number 1222 from 1222-3070 00000 contractually $3,000 from the total of $3,000 to the following account 1222-11-300-000-0000 $3,000 for the total of $3,000. This transfer would cover 5 overtime pays, and at that time we'll have a better understanding of where we need additional appropriations.
Are there any questions from the members? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Connor, a second from Mr. Poland to approve within the E911 fund. A 1222, a $3,000 transfer from contractual to overtime. Are there any other questions from the members?
Real quick, how many short are we?
We are still working on, we at least are 3 short currently. We do have an interview coming up Friday with somebody, so hopefully that will be a potential. And I did pick up 40 resumes today from HR, so we'll
Good.
see what I get out of that.
All right. Thanks.
Question, thanks. Are there public input? A roll call, please.
Connor,
Yes.
Polling,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Perez,
Aye.
Fleming,
Aye.
Middlesworth.
Yes, motion carried. Next item, business item B, Grant County Commissioner Mark Bursley with additional appropriation regarding ARPA funds.
Good evening, Mr. President, gentlemen.
There you
Have 2 items that we wanted to bring before you. Both have been reviewed by the commissioners and believe the projects need to move forward. Our first is a request from Upland and the STEM open area project that they have been developing over the last year or so. They have gone through 3 phases, or have 3 phases, and they're working toward the 3rd phase now. And the commissioners were asked if ARPA funds would be appropriate, falling under the potential for tourism. We do recommend that it is moved forward so that the money is appropriated. I have Mr. Evan Hoyt with us this evening, who can give you a little bit more information about the STEM open area project. And so I turn it over to him for a few moments.
Sure, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks for entertaining this evening. Appreciate you. I have a slide deck here and didn't know when the right time to pass that out to you was, but just a few pictures of what's been done this summer. If you haven't been able to see that. Your Space Education is a STEM nonprofit that's based in Upland. We service really the entire Midwest, but main goal is to find genius young youth with a real bright future We don't believe they're all hidden in Silicon Valley. We believe we have them here. We have them all around the Midwest, and we're on a hunt to find them and to empower them, equip them, and prepare them for the future. This park, we believe, is really a piece of that inspiration locally in the STEM effort. But man, we have seen some beautiful things happen. Been watching people pour in. I work right across the park. I'm watching people pour in from all over the county. Faces I'm from Marion. Seeing people pour in from here, bringing their kids, and it's been really amazing even since it's been open about a month and a half now. So these additional funds would go towards completing the phase 3. We went in and realized that there's a pretty significant gain in efficiency if we went ahead and leaned into phase 3. So rather than trying to restart that next year with men and equipment now, so. We're pressing into that phase 3. We're seeking to put a public restroom perhaps there, and then that would be the completion of phase 3. So it's been pretty exciting. It's a great summer watching all that happen. I'd love to see it come. Answer any questions you have as well, if you have any questions.
Gotta ask what STEM stands for.
Yeah, well, probably different if you ask different educators, but science, technology, engineering, math, just, you know, aiming at the sciences.
How much money has already been poured into the first 2 phases?
Yes, sir. A little over $300,000 have been raised. It's been an incredible, overwhelming, both from the community, from state agencies, local, relatively local agencies. It's been really astounding. That was one of the reasons we really leaned into it so fast this summer. We were planning to really only begin phase 1, maybe phase 2, and we saw such overwhelming support that we decided to press in. So honestly, it's been a very encouraging bright spot. I came to Indiana Wesleyan 2006, did about 12 years in the Army, came back last year and a half, and watching this happen here has been an incredible spot for me, and my family. So great. Just want to testify on the beauty of what's happening, right? I think that it's in.
How far along is it? At what stage is this?
We're really into phase 3. The bathroom, public bathroom is going to be probably the only really open portion. The funds would help us close what we've invested in that already.
So these pictures are
Done.
the
Yes,
things that are
it
done?
is complete, sir. Yep, we did the ribbon cutting last week on Tuesday, and
Okay.
yeah.
Are there any other questions from the members? And Commissioner Bartley, this has been for tourism regarding the ARPA funds, and who are we using that on as far as consult?
That is item number 2. But we voted to move it to you pending your approval, and we have had this advertised. Is that correct?
Mhm.
So
We had to hire someone to review and file the paperwork.
we at one point had Jim Higgins from is that London Woody? And we worked with him, or attempted to work with him for about a year, and he would not get back with us. And for whatever reason, the commissioners decided that we needed to make a change. This is kind of outside the scope of this particular request for the STEM project, but within a week, the folks that we've asked to do it have gotten us the materials that we need, and has presented the ordinance for moving the balance of our ARPA money into that loss recovery line item. I think that has to be advertised, and that comes next month.
I'll get with you. I'm not sure.
Because that ordinance that we enacted will actually come up before them, I believe, next month. But we just need to make sure we advertise that. Yes, you did, and you're doing much better tonight. But again, we think that that's a great investment for our county, and the 35,000 would be a great asset to helping phase 3 move along.
Other questions from the members?
You said your phase 3 is gonna cost you 85,000, so you're still short 50?
Yes, sir. There's, wouldn't be the right, sorry. probably wouldn't be the right person to speak fully on the matching effort, but our plan is to seek matching with those
Okay.
funds. Yeah, and we have some donors already in line against that, but it's loose enough. We didn't want to really advertise that to you this evening, with any kind of guarantee, but that's what our intention is.
What's,
See,
Mr. Barsley, what's the process for getting ARPA funds? So I'm just confused as to who brings it to you or how that whole thing works.
Any of our municipalities or technically nonprofits can come and request that of the commissioners. We have to look at the validity, whether we think it needs to come onto you for appropriation or not.
It's like in a Monday commissioner meeting or?
Yes. Mhm.
I think this sounds like a spot on good use of ARPA funds. You don't always hear that about that in other areas, so I can't imagine a better use for tourism.
We have definitely assisted one community, and this is another community project that, again, it's drawing people from all over the county and outside of the county. Folks that are coming into Taylor University are going, oh, what a neat thing. Let's go down
What
and
was the other one? Just remind me.
the Gas City project.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are there any other questions?
I make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Khan, and a second from Mr. Fulton to approve the Upland Spin Open Area Project regarding the ARPA funds at the $35,000 amount. Are any other questions from the members?
Good place to watch the eclipse, I guess.
We welcome you all, please. Let's send a balloon up with your name on it.
I'll bring my welding helmet.
Okay. We got glasses for
I
you.
just need good weather.
Public input? Roll call, please.
Connor,
Yes.
Bowling,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Perez,
Abstain.
Lemming,
Aye.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. I think that's going to be a neat shot in the arm to the project and to those who are trying to make a difference there in Upland. Appreciate it very much. Our second request is to appropriate $30,000. I do not know how this fell through the cracks. At one point, we had enjoined Mr. Higgins for a contractual relationship. And that money was supposed to be drawn from ARPA, but at some point, I believe even council funds actually paid for some of this. And so that's why we're asking for 30 is to capture that money, put it back into the line item for you guys where it should never have been taken out of, because that money is for our legal direction. We can use ARPA funds to pay for that. So it's just a redirect after we had to change our council.
What's KS? I'm sorry, what is KSM?
They're the group of lawyers and CPAs that are helping us to follow the ARPA guidelines, make sure that we're doing all the things correctly that we have to.
Is the KSM the one that's gonna do the study on the financial piece for the jail?
Yes, but that's entirely separate from this.
Okay,
It's a standalone.
is there a contract with KSM regarding all the funds? Or-
An agreement just like we had with Mr. Higgins. And we had terminated that, given him notice.
So what do you get for 30,000?
They will be reviewing any of the requests that come through before we would ever vote on them before sending it to you. So they are they are the ones that helped us put this last ordinance together, because we couldn't get any movement from the other. So we will be, after this ordinance comes through y'all, able to actually pigeonhole that loss recovery money and utilize it in a more general usage instead of the four more specific areas that anything over the 10 million, we had to use for tourism, for water, for broadband, or for employee remuneration for the COVID situation. If with the loss recovery that this U.S. Senate set in motion, up to $10 million, any municipality or government that got that much can immediately say that $10 million is for loss recovery, and it gives us more freedom to utilize it. That could be, in fact, paying for our ambulances early, as well as other projects that we know we're going to have to do. We've already tagged 1.3 for the chiller boiler project here, which you've already approved. So that just is going to give us more flexibility with that ARPA money.
The KSM agreement that for 30,000, is that for a year?
It's not for 30,000, it's for 25. That was the same that we were doing for Mr. Higgins. And so it will be drawn on as needed. It's not just we're paying it.
So it's prorated or per hourly?
Yes, that's the way we did it.
Any other questions, comments? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion.
Make the motion to approve the request.
Second.
I have a motion for Mr. Connor, a second from Mr. Perez to approve within the ARPA funding, 30,000 to KSN. To 30,000. Are there any other questions or comments from the members? Public input? Roll call, please.
Connor,
Yes.
Perez,
Aye.
Hicks,
Yes.
Bowling,
Yes.
Fleming,
Aye.
Middlesworth.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I believe that concludes all the new business.
I have.
Oh, you
I thought we was leaving now. Didn't you
I was
postpone?
trying to get out of here.
I know, you too.
You should hit that button.
Too bad, we're tired and cranky and stinky, but go ahead.
Real easy, a $2,500 transfer from part-time to legal counsel to pay our legal counsel due to a shortfall from a bill that was carried over from 22.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Man, renegotiating.
Can we negotiate with him?
Yeah, we renegotiating here? What is the deal?
I didn't have to say.
Whatever you want.
Okay, so we have a transfer of appropriation within the general fund of two transfers, correct? $2,500 from part-time to legal counsel and $4,375 from part-time to software within the auditor's funds. Yes. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Connor, a second from Mr. Bowling to approve within the auditor's funds, two transfers, $2,500 from part-time to legal counsel, as well as $4,375 from part-time to software support. Questions or comments from the members? Public input? A roll call?
Connor,
Yes.
Bowling,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Perez,
Yes.
Fleming,
Aye.
Middlesworth.
Yes. Motion carries. Now, that. I believe we've resolved all the old business regarding the adoption of the 2024 budgets. Are there any committee reports? Our next regular meeting is Wednesday, November the 15th, 2023. Typically, we don't allow public comments at the end of the meeting, but I believe that we have someone that want to address us this evening.
So
Do you want me to do it tonight, or can I do an appointment and make public comments in the November?
that's the same I had. Yeah. We'll allow, I'll allow 5 minutes of public comment. Yeah, just come up to the podium and state your name and your address.
Okay, Linda Sutton, 1221 South 350 East, Marion. And yeah, I'll read this and try and make it quick. I'm here to talk to the governing bodies of Grant County, knowing their area plan office is antiquated, understaffed, and unable to carry out their work. Great people in there, very kind, very helpful, but they're understaffed. There was an issue with the builder that got a building permit to renovate 420 square feet into storage. This building is across the street from me. And I would have brought more, but I didn't know how many people were there. He renovated over 10,000 square feet. Put a sign out this spring saying event center. This was residential area. His is now business. But he had one inspection. That inspection should have been a red flag to whoever did it. Apparently that person is no longer employed there anymore. But you need a male bathroom, female bathroom, and a disability bathroom in a storage area. Upgrade on electrical part, drywall the whole building, and this is for 420 feet of storage. I've talked to other council members and such, but anyway, with him, he got the permit. He's a contractor. He knows better. And that was just for the first part. Second one, he renovated the building as a business in a residential area. Third, he added 8-foot fencing and put out an oversized sign. He knew he needed to get permits for this, and he didn't. If the building and inspectors could have gone out and done a drive-by, stopped in to see what they were doing, this would have stopped all this. He said he spent $500,000 on this building. His permit was for $20,000 to renovate this. He now has a 2-year zoning variance to operate this building. And the area planning commission, I've talked to them. I've talked to them about the penalties for him not following his permits, for doing work without his permits. And when you go online and see their stuff, their fines listed. They said, we don't have people to give them their fines. So these people know they can do whatever they want, go in after the fact, get different zoning, and operate their business. There's no repercussions to them, only to the people that live across the street from them. From the commission, you hear, well, the area plan, they don't have enough help. They're understaffed. They can't get their work done. Okay, you hear the same thing from the Zoning Board of Appeals. These groups of people are understaffed. They can't get their work done because they don't have the people to do it. I talked to Mr. Glickfield because when you look on their permits, property ownership, it says owned by Private Academy.
And there's different ones. These have not been owned by Private Academy for over 2 years. New Hope City still owns some of it, but these houses out there, there's only one house now, I believe, that's owned by New Hope. These should be on the assessor's list to go out and check and reassess these properties. Because I'd say part of them, their year of lower taxes is up. These need to be taxed at the amount that the property's worth now, and not have just a ditch tax because it's a religious owned facility. They're not anymore. And Mr. Glickfield was more concerned about that aspect of it, getting it on the proper tax rolls than having these outdated permits issued. You go online and you print it out, or you go up to their office and have them print it out. It gives the incorrect owner, if the property's been sold within a short amount of time. 2 years isn't a short amount of time, and it's still incorrect. They don't have the people to go out and do their spot checks. And here's another one that has nothing to do with me, but this one started their building, and they plot it, which is, good for them, but these people were building on the right of way. It had already started, and they went through, this was in September, and they got a variance for theirs. One of the big things is, this represents Grant County. People come in, and if they want to build and they find out that it's an antiquated system that they're working with, the people aren't going to come out and do proper inspections because they don't have them to do. And they could issue a stop order saying this electrical wiring doesn't meet code. This foundation is too low. It needs to be built up. I mean, it could save people a lot of heartache and expense. You really need to consider looking at this department. I mean, when the permits that are issued that come out and they're not correct, and on the back of them, it says, I hereby certify that I've read, examined all this, that it's truthful and correct. And I know I'm stuck with that building across the street from me for 2 years. I know he wants to build more out there, but I lived in the country, so it would be quiet and dark. I could go out and look at the skies, look for falling stars, and you can't. This is what I'm faced with.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the members? Again, our next regular meeting is Wednesday, November the 15th, 2023. Okay.
Thanks.
So.
Hey, Chuck, please.